All right, what's up? Let me just make sure everything is well and everything is up. Looks like YouTube is awake. YouTube, are you awake? All right, Rockfin, where you at? All right, Rockfin is up and YouTube is up. All right, yeah, we're doing it. What's up, everybody? Good to see you. Yeah, let's officially begin. What's up, everybody? Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron. For everyone checking out the podcast later, how are you? Leave us a 5-star review, would you? That'd be super. That'd be super duper. Hope everyone is having a great week. We got some interesting news for you. So first of all, we got a follow up on the LA school strike that was going on. It was a bunch of school staff workers, drivers, sanitation workers. They reached a deal. So some good news there. Also, the general strike that's going on in France. Oh man, the general strike that's going on in France. And also the TikTok hearing. Boy, what a doozy. We're going to be going into all that today. Let's start with some good news. It's not often that I start with some good news, but boy, check this out. This is from More Perfect Union. Breaking: school staff in Los Angeles have reached a tentative deal. They have since approved the deal, by the way, after 3 days on strike. The workers, who currently make just $25,000 a year on average, won a new contract that includes a 30% wage increase, retroactive pay of $4,000 to $8,000, and average salaries of $33,000. Strikes work. If approved by workers, the contract will benefit some 30,000 plus bus drivers, special ed assistants, cafeteria workers, custodians, gardeners, and other public school staff who organize with SEIU Local 99. Few of the highlights of the agreement: a 30% wage increase, retroactive pay. Okay. 7 hours of work guaranteed for special ed assistants, fully paid healthcare benefits for members in units F and G. So let's go over to see what SEIU directly has to say about this agreement. Now, keep in mind, we covered this last week on the show. And what was going on last week was that they decided they were going to go on strike. They decided we're going to be going on strike. And they were like, we're going to be going on strike for 3 days. Now, this was not directly a teacher strike, but the teachers were supportive of the strike and the teachers marched with them. So this was an extensive strike all throughout Los Angeles. They were marching in all the neighborhoods. There were marches in my neighborhood of San Pedro. And after 3 days, they reached an agreement. Strikes work, y'all. Strikes work. Strikes work really freaking well, as a matter of fact. We're going to go over to France a little later, where, oh boy, is France. Well, one thing at a time. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. SEIU Local 99. Breaking news: after 3 historic days of a strike led by SEIU Local 99 members, our bargaining team is proud to announce that we have reached a tentative agreement with LAUSD. Our fight brought our city and country together, because when we fight, we win. The agreement addresses our key demands and sets us on a clear pathway to improving our livelihoods and securing the staffing we need to improve student services. It was our members' dedication to winning respect from the district that made this agreement possible. So again, a few of the highlights: 30% wage increase, retroactive of $4,000 to $8,000, increase of average salary from $25,000 to $33,000, 7 hours of work guaranteed for special ed assistants, and fully paid healthcare benefits for members in units F and G. Our fight brought our city and country together. Mayor Karen Bass, I'll give credit where it was due. Mayor Karen Bass was instrumental to getting the district to finally start hearing our demands. When we fight, we win. Going local, strike. I mean, those are the main themes of this show. Act local, strike, protest. I don't say that because it's necessarily the sexiest topic in the world. I say that because it frickin' works. Strikes pretty much have a 100% success rate. Strikes frickin' work. So this is a great start. I mean, are things in an absolute perfect place? No, but this is a good start. This is a really good start. So shout out to the LA school staffers. Shout out to the teachers who marched with them in solidarity. Shout out to the unions that got this done. Little bit of good news. I know it feels weird, right? It feels weird. Well, let's take a break from striking for a second, and we're going to go over to the TikTok hearing. So the TikTok hearing happened earlier this week. You guys might have already heard me report on it over at Status Quo. And basically, to give a quick refresher, so there was a policy within committee to ban TikTok. Now, this policy was not based on any type of privacy concerns or data privacy or anything like that. This policy was just based on fear mongering about China. That's all it was. Because all of the things that they're complaining about with TikTok, you can make those same complaints about Twitter, about YouTube, about Instagram, about Facebook. It all comes down to data privacy concerns. But for some reason, TikTok is singled out. Why? Well, because it's a Chinese company. Although in the United States, it's run by United States citizens. And one of the solutions TikTok proposed was they said, look, we'll just keep all the data in the United States. Right now, we have data services in Virginia and in Singapore. We're just going to close all that off, siphon it all to the United States. So all the data is in the United States. There you go. And the United States, throughout this hearing, was still just a bunch of, it was honestly racist. It was just xenophobic hatred. And if you watch this hearing, that's all it was. Are there valid concerns around TikTok? Abso-freaking-lutely. Is the Chinese government something worthy of criticism? Of course. Guess another government very worthy of criticism. Ours, the United States government. Guess what else has privacy concerns? All the other social media platforms. So this wasn't about the real problem, which is better data privacy. That's the true solution for all this. The true solution for all this is better data privacy. They don't ever talk about that solution, though, because that solution will actually hurt the pocketbook of the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world. That's why. So this isn't about safety. This isn't about, making things better online. This is about fear mongering around China. That's what this is about. And here's some highlights. Here's some of the hits. Get a load of this one. So now some people are sugarcoating this. We're just going to play it first. Well, actually, you know what? I want to do the other one first. So here's where I want to start. I mentioned that they had the solution to they had the solution. TikTok proposed the solution of just keeping all the data of United States citizens in the United States. So there's no way it could go elsewhere, even though, again, there's no proof right now that there has been the selling, like there has not been any they have not sold.
Director when they said that the CCP.
All right, so they have not sold any data as of right now. Now, TikTok did not promise they would never do that, but they haven't as of yet. There's no evidence that the CCP was hacking anything in regards to the United States citizens. They do targeted ads and stuff like that. But again, all social media platforms do that. In fact, throughout this hearing, they discovered that Facebook and Instagram are worse than TikTok as far as how they mine your data and they surveil you and they target you and they sell your data to third parties. Facebook and Instagram are worse than TikTok is in that regard. TikTok's never actually done it. They didn't promise they wouldn't do it. Again, I'm not saying TikTok's perfect. It isn't. There's worthy criticisms. But TikTok hasn't done that yet. Facebook and Instagram have. So Facebook and Instagram are even worse than TikTok when it comes to data privacy. Yet for some reason, TikTok singled out. So here's how an actual elected official conducted himself. This is Representative Pfluger out of Texas. Now, Representative Pfluger actually retweeted this. He's proud of this behavior. This is how he treated the TikTok CEO, Xiao Shu. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This is what he thought was an appropriate way to conduct himself. Just watch this. This is amazing.
Do you disagree with FBI Director Wray and NSA Director Nakasone when they said that the CCP could have the capability to manipulate data and send it to the United States? Do you disagree with their statement?
Their statement says could.
So do you disagree with that?
No, I don't disagree with that.
Okay, so it is possible that the CCP, under the auspices of ByteDance, which is your parent company, which you get paid from, has the ability to manipulate content that is being shared with 130 million Americans, yes?
Just like all other social media platforms do have the ability. By the way, they can all do that. But yeah, anyway, let's keep going here.
Congressman, I just want to make sure I'm understanding all these questions. I don't disagree with them that there are data risks in general. That's what I meant.
There's a big data risk
But
because
on us specifically,
are there engineers located inside mainland China that work on TikTok? Not Douyin, but TikTok.
we are not the only company that has that.
Are there engineers inside mainland China currently working on the algorithm for TikTok?
Congressman, like I said,
As you
there
told
are
me in my
there are
office.
there are other companies that, as I told you in your office, there are
By
other
the way,
companies
I'm going to
that do
reclaim
that.
my time. Please rename your project. Texas is not the appropriate name. We stand for freedom and transparency, and we don't want your project. I yield back.
So what that refers to, by the way, is their whole proposal to keep all the data in the United States. They called it the Texas Project because Texas was the first state to make a really big stink about TikTok. And that's his response to that. Don't call it the Texas Project. We're not for what you're about. We're about freedom and transparency. By the way, Texas is the state that is literally trying to censor abortion information off the internet. Texas is the state. We covered that story on the show last week. Texas has a proposal out there to all the ISPs, internet service providers in Texas, need to censor actual abortion-related websites that provide medical information about abortion. Texas wants to literally censor them off the internet. And in a post-net neutrality world, Texas can do that. They can go to the ISPs and say, you need to censor these websites or you can't provide internet in Texas. And because we live in a post-net neutrality world where there aren't net neutrality protections saying that an ISP can't do that, the ISP can say, okay, fine, because we want to do business in Texas. That's the freedom and transparency this guy's talking about. That's the freedom and transparency they stand for in Texas. I mean, how can you not? I mean, that has nothing to do with data privacy. That has nothing to do with security concerns. That has everything to do with fear-mongering about the Chinese and xenophobia. That's what that is. And if you can't see the difference, because I've gotten a lot of pushback from people being like, well, Ron, there are real security concerns. I never said there weren't. But if you can't tell the difference between addressing true security concerns, which again, the solution would be better data privacy laws across the board, not just single out TikTok, across the frickin' board. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all of them. That's the real solution. So yeah, of course there's valid concerns around TikTok. There's valid concerns around all this stuff. But a bunch of xenophobic nonsense fear-mongering is not the solution. And that's what this is. This hearing was absolutely embarrassing. Here's another highlight. Here's another fun highlight I wanted to show you guys while we're on the topic. Check this out. This is a doozy. This is a doozy. So I said the internet is a series of tubes level stupid. So here's this guy's.
The home Wi-Fi network.
Here, hold on. Let me rewind that.
Does TikTok access the home Wi-Fi network?
Only if the user turns on the Wi-Fi. I'm sorry, I may not understand the.
So if I have a TikTok app on my phone and my phone is on my home Wi-Fi network, does TikTok access that network?
So his question is, does TikTok access the network? Which the way he's framing that question makes no sense at all. Because it's like, well, yeah, I mean, if you're on the internet, TikTok is also going to be, TikTok's on your phone. And if you're using it via the network, like you're connected. So this guy's question is terrible. Other people are speculating what he actually meant by this question. He's meaning like, can TikTok, basically can TikTok infiltrate other apps or something like that? That's what people speculate this guy meant. But if that is what he meant, he asked this question terribly. I don't think that is what he meant. I think he just doesn't understand how apps work. But let's continue watching this horrible horrible exchange.
To access the network, to get connections to the internet, if that's the question.
Is it possible then that it could access other devices on that home Wi-Fi network?
Congressman, we do not do anything that is beyond any industry norms. I believe the answer to your question is no. It could be technical. Let me get back to you.
Okay, I'd appreciate it if you can answer that.
Yeah, your question didn't make any sense. That's why he can't answer it. Like first you go, oh, well, can it access other devices? Which apparently that's this dude's main concern. Can TikTok infiltrate other devices? But he didn't ask that. He goes, well, is it on the Wi-Fi network? Well, those are two completely different freaking questions. So this guy either doesn't understand what he's trying to ask. And again, this goes into the whole theme. We have two types of people governing technology and the internet. People who don't understand how it works and people who can't handle it, i.e. Marjorie Taylor Greene. And they're ruling on things like apps like TikTok, like free speech on the internet, like net neutrality. And they just don't understand the most basic mechanisms on how it works. And you don't have to be a tech guru, by the way. I'm not a tech person, but I understand enough about how these things interact and about the policy around it that I can have an informed take on it. And you know what? If you don't understand that stuff and you're a policymaker, there are over 70 digital rights organizations in the United States. Ask one of them. It's not that hard. Just ask them. I work with Fight for the Future. I can promise you, I can speak for at least one digital rights organization in the country. If you ask us, we're more than happy to answer to the best of our freaking ability. It's like Bernie Sanders usually has a good take when it comes to digital rights issues. Do you think the 80-year-old from Vermont is some like frequent Reddit user? I'm going to guess he probably isn't. But guess what? He has people around him who ask the right people. It's really not that hard. It's not that freaking hard. And by the way, every digital rights organization in the country is against banning TikTok because another thing that this policy does. Now, by the way, the Biden administration is on board with this policy now. Originally, it was just a bunch of like Republicans fear-mongering, but then more Democrats were on board with it. Because if there's one thing we can count on bipartisanship agreement on, it's a shitty idea. So both Republicans and Democrats are on board with this now. Biden said he's on board with it and he'd sign it. Now, what this policy does is it would mess with the Berman Amendments. What are the Berman Amendments? The Berman Amendments are policy that allows us as Americans to have access and to have the ability to pursue information from foreign entities, i.e. other countries. If you mess with the Berman Amendments, we could have a future where any given president, be it Joe Biden, be it Donald Trump, be it Ron DeSantis, or whoever else, could dictate what information we could get from outside the United States. Meaning if it's not domestic, we might not be able to get it. What do you think that would do when it comes to information regarding war and peace? Or just news in general? That's a dystopian hellscape of a future where some president, if other countries were doing something like that, we'd use it as an excuse to invade them. But when we do it, it's in the name of security and liberty, baby. So that's what's at stake here. This isn't about security because, again, if it was, we'd be pursuing better data privacy laws across the board. This is about fear-mongering. This is about xenophobia, in particular, xenophobia against the Chinese. That's all this is about. And that hearing was absolutely freaking embarrassing. And if you want to do something about this, go to don'tbantiktok.com. Let me pull it up here for you. Don'tbantiktok.com and sign the petition. There are real concerns around TikTok, but this is not the freaking answer. Again, go to don'tbantiktok.com. That's don'tbantiktok.com. And please do sign the petition. All right, let's go over to France, shall we? Oh, man. So France is having a general strike. Why are they having a general strike in France? Well, because they want to they want to change the way pensions work, and they want to raise the retirement age from 62 to 64. And France is not having that. When France, and by the way, our retirement age, I think, is 67. They want to raise it to 68. And I think in some places they're trying to raise it to 70. We're doing nothing. In France, they tried to raise it to 64, and France shut shit down. Oh my God, did they shut shit down? Let's see some of the highlights here, folks. This is, man, we could, we need, like, we should get some consultants from France to just give us some notes and supporters. And they're probably going to say, well, gee, you know how your healthcare is connected to your job? We don't have that problem. So it's way easier for us to strike in France. You know how you guys don't really get living wages? So you're like always a paycheck or two away from going under. We don't have that problem in France. We have living wages. I feel like your society makes it so that it's almost impossible for you to strike. And this is by design. And we'll be like, shit, yeah, we know. There's a reason we don't do what the French do. And it's not just lack of will. It's because people are put into a situation where they can't strike the way someone in France can. That's just the way it is. But when you have good unions and you have strong unions that are run the right way, you can overcome that. You know why? Because when you do have to strike, the union has your back and the community has your back. We're seeing that happen. That happened in parts of Alabama where they've had a general strike now for a while. Not a general strike, but there's been strikes in Alabama. We covered it on the show. There's been micro strikes in places like Alabama even, where people are on strike, and because the community comes in to support them, and because they have a fund meant for this situation via the unions, they're able to go on strike. That's what we need extensively across the United States, because look, striking works. It only took 3 days for the schools here in Los Angeles. But here's what they're doing in France. They have a much bigger one in France. Check this out. Massive turnout of young people in today's general strike across France. Look at all these people. Soundtrack. Every strike needs this soundtrack tape. They got some EDM going. Feel it. That was a firework, I think. All right, that's enough of that. I hope you guys got the rhythm of the music there. I hope you're feeling it. All right, I got a couple more that I want to show everybody. This is yeah, they are freaking on fire out. Well, literally, they burned down like a riot car and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, a general strike was called in France today. This is from a few days ago, and well over 1 million people are in the streets at over 200 protests across the country. Teachers, transport workers, garbage collectors, and gas and electric workers and more are all on strike today. This is about them raising the age 2 years. France said, no, you're not. And you know why they said? Because they know if you give them a little bit, they're going to take a mile. You give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. It's 64 today. It'll be 67 in a few years. They're probably looking at the United States and being, do you want to be that? No? Well, let's shut it down now. It's so funny when I talk about this stuff and people from the United States are like, yeah, look at France. Their quality of life is declining. No. Their quality of life is already infinitely better than ours. And they're striking to make sure it doesn't not stay that way. It's not that there's not strikes in the United States because our quality of life is fine. There's not strikes in the United States, again, because we are broken into submission. You're able to go on strike when healthcare is not tied to your job. You're able to go on strike when you have living wages, strong unions. France has all that. The U.S. doesn't in most cases. And when it's able to pull off a strike anyway, guess what? Good things freaking happen. This is why I say peace, love, and a general strike. This is why. Here, we'll go to this story real quick. This is from Sky News. So this is Sky News is basically like a Fox News style site. So recall that as I read this. France national strike over pension reform. Why are workers so angry? A national strike is taking place in France after Emmanuel Macron's circumvention of parliament to pass the divisive pension bill, which would raise the retirement age by two years. Now here, Look at all this devastation to the economy. French airports will be hit, with Paris Orly Airport seeing its schedule of flights reduced by 30%. Eurostar announced 8 of its trains would be suspended. French domestic travel will also take a hit. Think of the economy. Oh, no. Why are they protesting? Opinion polls show the vast majority of voters oppose the pension reforms, as do trade unions, who argue there are other ways to balance the pension system account. So as a collective force, workers from the transport, sanitary, refinery, education sectors, and beyond have been marching in their respective cities and towns against the bill. French streets have become lined with overflowing bins, notably in Paris, where 10,000 tons of rubbish remains uncollected. And they're just stacking it there until their demands are met. It's absolutely amazing what they pull off in France. Absolutely amazing. Here's something Dave Anthony tweeted, friend of the show, Dave Anthony, a co-host of the Dollop podcast. Check this out. How's saving money going? So this is a video. Demonstrators in Saint Celine have destroyed several police cars and riot vans. So check this out. This is them. If you listen to the podcast later, they're destroying a riot van. Here, let me give you the audio to this. So that's a riot van on fire. France does not take crap. There's music playing in the background. There's music and they're launching fireworks as a riot car burns. Viva France. Viva France. So they're going to have to give in soon, because this is what they do in France. This is what they do in France when you mess with them. And that's why France, now I'm not going to sit here and say France doesn't have its problems. Of course it does. But they pretty much have the best healthcare system in the world. In the world. They have, I think it's over a month of maternity and paternity leave. They get a month of vacation every year. They have amazing social services in their country. Why do you think they have all that? Now, part of it is that they just do have a better government. Yeah. Macron's not great by any means, but, you know, their government can't get away with the kind of stuff that the United States can get away with. Even if Macron himself is a neoliberal, which I think he is. Well, he definitely is. There's no thing, but it's like he can only get away with so much. He can only get away with so much because when you try to mess with them, this is what happens. They shut shit down and they burn shit down. They set a freaking bank on fire. They've covered politicians' houses with shit. They do not tolerate it. They don't. And that's why they have one of the best quality of lives in the world. That's part of the reason why. You know, I'm not advocating violence of any kind at all, but this is just massive organized civil disobedience where they say, hey, if you're going to try to mess with us, we, the workers, are going to shut it down. Your planes aren't going to run. Your buses aren't going to run. Your garbage isn't going to be collected. We're not going to let the police push us around. That's what they do in France. And we're seeing, again, the strike in LA, totally peaceful. They just said, we're done. We're not doing this. 3 days. 3 days, and they got a 30% wage increase. 3 days. Just in LA, and just the staff at schools, just school staffs. Imagine if we had a straight up general strike in the United States. If for a handful of days, even 3 days, we just shut down every industry in this country for even 3 days, we'd probably have universal health care. We'd probably have better funded education. I mean, honestly, change is very slow until it isn't. So, man, and again, I understand there's circumstances that make it more difficult for us to pull off what they pull off in France. But man, do we have to figure it out. And that is why I always say peace, love, in a general strike. Who? France, setting an example for us, France. Viva France. Viva la French. That's a terrible attempt at speaking the most slightest of French. Anyway, I remember Je m'appelle Ron. I took French in high school. I don't remember any of it. And I speak Italian now. Viva la Francia. Anyway, guys, tour dates. I got him. April 14th. That's my next show in Los Angeles. Come out, Los Angeles. You can get tickets now at ronplacone.com. May 12th, show 3 of 3 in Los Angeles. Get your tickets now. June 16th, Madison, Wisconsin. June 17th, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Use the promo code Lucy at checkout for Madison and Minneapolis. June 23rd, Detroit, Michigan. June 28th, Bloomington, Indiana. June 29th, Chicago, Illinois. Use the promo code Lucy at checkout for Chicago, Illinois. And I will be at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, August 16th through 27th. All the Edinburgh information will be on my website soon, just finalizing everything. But my shows are August 16th through 27th at the venue 32 Below in the Little Cellar Room. And my shows are at 4 p.m. or 1600 daily. So that's August 16th through 27th. 4 p.m., 1600 daily at the Little Cellar and the venue 32 Below. All that information will be listed on my website soon. And October 21st, I'm doing a comedy series in my neighborhood of San Pedro, California. I'm bringing in some of my favorite comics right to my neighborhood. The first headliner of the series is going to be Amy Miller. She's hilarious. Check her out. So I'm going to be on that show. Amy Miller's going to be on that show. We'll have a few other comics as well. You can get tickets for all the shows mentioned at ronplacone.com. Don't wait. Get your tickets now. And if you want to support this show on the sustainability end, patreon.com/ronplacone is the best way to do it. Patreon.com/ronplacone. For a give what you can level, you get all kinds of exclusive content. I'm going to be making some huge announcements soon in regards to the future of Get Your News On with Ron. And the future of some other projects I got going, which, speaking of which, check out my pilot Loner if you haven't yet. Have you watched it yet? You got to watch it if you haven't yet. It's right on my YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/ronplacone. Loner pops up. It's the first thing there. It's my trailer, and there's a playlist. Please watch the first episode because we're working on episode 2 now. And if you want to be the first to know about everything, patreon.com/ronplacone. If you want to check out my performance as Lucian the Satirist, patreon.com/ronplacone. And you can get all those benefits for a give what you can level. Come on. You gotta do it. A give what you can, even $1 a month gets you all that. Oh, and I'm gonna be dropping a full audio to my last headlining set. And the reason it's audio is because I filmed the thing, and I did not place my camera wisely. And unfortunately, I placed my camera in a way so that you get the back of this woman's head throughout the entire set, which was my fault. I feel badly about it. So there's nothing I can really do with that video other than just review it. So I thought a fun thing to do is I'll extract the audio from it and then drop the audio for patrons. So if you want to check that out, patreon.com/ronplacone. Check it out. Yes, please do check out Loner if you haven't yet. Tour dates, all tickets, ronplacone.com. And guys, you know the drill. First of all, for everyone catching this live, stick around. The patron stream is starting immediately after this. I'm just gonna take a quick intermission here and then come back with the patron stream that is open to everybody, but the replay is only available on Patreon and Rockman Premium. So again, patreon.com/ronplacone. That's going to be a casual stream. I'll be taking questions. We'll be having a chat about what you just saw or whatever you want. And I actually have a huge announcement that I'll be making to patrons first regarding the future of Get Your News On with Ron and the future of everything else. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. And to everyone, whether you're here or whether you're checking it later, you know the drill. Lucy, she says meow. And I say peace, love, and a general strike.